So this is a really cool video. It's going to be sort of a lengthier process because I'm going step by step showing you a bunch of Delium Tools brushes and ways to use each particular style or type of brush. Half of them were sent to me by Delium Tools and I'll do a separate review, but I'm just going to show you how they all work. I'm using Glamour Doll Eyes pigments on the eyes and some OCC lip tars on the lips, and that's pretty much it. And like I said, it's gonna be a little lengthier because I'm going over the whole face. So I hope you enjoy this video and thanks for watching. Alright, so to get started on the look, we're just gonna neutralize the eyelid with Urban Decay Primer Potion in Eden. And we're just going to take a little drop of that from the eyelid up to the brow bone and just gently tap that on the eyelid. Don't rub the skin back and forth. I'm going to add NYX Jumbo Eye Pencil in Milk to underneath the brow bone, and we're just going to go in and blend that out. Now for the actual base, we're just going to take a little bit of Glamour Doll Eyes Foil Me, and we're just going to put on a little bit of that, and then just take a finger and gently tap it down to blend it out. Put a little bit into the crease just so that it's all even. No harsh lines. You don't want to do it solely on just the eyelid because it can cut off the eyelid and make for a smaller eye look. So, and then we're just going to allow that to set up for a minute. And now we're going to take the Delium Tools shadow brush. This is the number 77 and it's from the Green Bamboo series, which is their all vegan line. And I'm just going to take Trophy Wife. This is just their very popular vegan gold. It's like a greeny gold. It's crazy. That's it. So we're just going to take a little bit of that on this shader brush, tap the excess off back into the jar, and we're just going to pat that all over the eyelid. And then just push the edges of the brush into the crease and contour around the crease. When you mess with, when you play with and shade in Trophy Wife, it almost takes on a green look right where you've shaded. So if you don't want that look all over the eye, just make sure you pat down the color. I'm just going to take the Delium Tools eye brush in 781, just this sort of pencil-y type shader brush. It's a little thicker than the 219 from MAC. And we're just going to take probably the most popular matte from Glamour Doll Eyes, and this is Martini Olive. It's just a really dark green matte color. And we're just going to pick some up on that brush, on this brush, and we're just going to start shading it in the outer corner. And pushing it through the crease. So it does help to have a little bit of transition in the crease from Trophy Wife, but I wouldn't go too high up with it. It's up to you if you want. It'll just be a very, very, very high gold crease if you do that. A little bit of Trophy Wife and in the look itself goes a long way because it's so gold. Now from the Twi-shadows collection, I'm going to be taking a little bit of Skin of a Killer. Looks like this. And it's just a white iridescent pigment. And I'll have swatches on my blog for these shades as soon as I can. And we're just going to put this under the eye with the Delium Tools 785. I'm starting in the outer corner of the brow bone first, going over NYX Jumbo Eye Pencil, and then I'm just going to carefully try to take a little less pigment for the inner area of the brow bone arch. Now for the inner corner, I'm going to take a little bit more of that same white color and we're just going to pop that into the inner tear duct. Then we're going to take a little bit of Royal Assassin from Glamour Doll Eyes, and we're just going to take this lovely purple pigment. It has some teal to it, a little bit of teal to it, and we're just going to pick that up again on the 777 that we used for the eyelid. I'm going to tap the excess off in the jar once again, and you definitely going to want to do no foundation. And I'm just patting that in the outer corner. And then just gently shading in the excess, any excess that might be on the brush, or just trying to transition it into the gold. I'm going to take the Bdellium Tools 772 brush, which is just their small shader brush. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. It's their small shader brush. And I'm going to be taking a little bit of Flash Dance, which is just a really cool blue. If you kind of blend it in and mess with it, like really blend it in, you'll see a little bit of purple from it. So we're just going to take that and put it into the inner tear duct. So that's why I've switched to a small shader, just so it's a little bit more precise. You can get away with the wider brush if your eyes are wide or you're very careful. Sometimes it's nice to have two shaders on hand, just so that you can have maybe one for concealer, or you could use this for concealer, or one for eyeshadow, or depending on the look you're doing, for your eye shape, or maybe in somebody else's eye shape. It's just good to have two different sizes. So I've already placed that on. And if you're not seeing the Trophy Wife resonate as well anymore, you can go in with a little bit more Trophy Wife with the same small shader brush and just place a little bit of that overlapping Flash Dance and Royal Assassin, and just kind of pat it down where those colors meet, bridge the gap so they don't blend out funny. I'm going to take a little bit of Fascinating Eye Kohl, and we're just going to place that on the waterline. For some reason it wants to go under my eye, not my waterline. And I'd probably suggest a matte white for most people, because I know some people complain that shimmer can irritate their eyes. But I'm just going to take a little bit of Skin of a Killer and pack it into the brush that I already used for my highlight. And it is a very soft brush, so the brush won't irritate, but I'm just going to fluff that out on top of Fascinating Eye Kohl so that it lasts all day. I'm going to take a little bit of MAC Eye Kohl in Prunella, and we're just going to place this on the lower lash line. And really just get between the hairs. Don't really go much lower. Do a little shading in the very outer corner. I'm going to take a little bit of Just Bitten, which is also from the Twi Eyeshadows collection, and it's just a cranberry red with gold glitter. And I'm going to take this up on the Bdellium Tools 763, which is just their angled brush. And we're just going to pack a little bit of that on to underneath the eye area. Right on top of Prunella, so it's going to give it like a really cool purpley red look. Now for the upper lash line, I'm just going to take my Urban Decay 24/7 Waterproof Liquid Eyeliner in Perversion, and we're just going to draw a very fine line as close to the lash line as possible. I usually just start in the middle, which is where I want, like, I guess the most of the color, and then you can just flick it out so it looks finer, so you have a finer tail or ending point, and then Whatever's left on the brush goes in the inner corner. So I'm going to be taking the number 305 lashes now that my own are all defined, and I'll be right back once those are on. Now I applied my Mary Kay Time Wise Matte Wear Liquid Foundation just to get a really smooth sort of matte look to my skin, and I'll put a link in the bottom bar for my shop, which is marykay.com/glynch3. And now that the glue is finally dried, I'm going to go in with the Urban Decay 24/7 liquid liner in Perversion, and we're just going to line over that just to hide the glue. I do have a whole review on my blog spot about the matte black Perversion liquid liner and the colors as well, so I could put a link to there's always a link in my blog spot in case you're interested. I have all my reviews up there. And we're just gonna shake it up, and then we're gonna take a little bit of the El Dorado color from the 24/7 liquid liners, and we're just gonna go over the upper lash line. You could either settle this on top of Perversion or go even another line on top of Perversion, which is what I did. And just to clean up the look, we're going to take a little bit of the Collection 2000 Illuminating Light Touch Diffusing Concealer, and we're going to place it in these 4 positions around the eye, and we're just going to buff that in with either your finger, but I'm going to be taking the Volume Tool 7857. So I just like to take it so it meshes well with my foundation, so it doesn't look like reverse raccoon eyes. And then just really get it as close to the eye as possible. Now you can take your finger and just sort of melt it into your skin so that you don't get like a pocket or a line creasing under your eye. This will help warm it up to avoid that. I'm just going to take the MAC Cream Bronzer in Weekend with that same foundation brush. This will also help melt it into the skin better. And we're just going to buff it onto the contour. I'm going to take the Delium Tools 995 Kabuki. This one was sent to me, and we're just going to go in with the Inglot YSM face powder that I bought myself, and we're just going to buff that into the skin. I like taking like sort of a lightweight kabuki or a lightweight brush to do the Inglot YSM face powder so that it doesn't get overly saturated on the skin, and this works perfectly. You could also use this brush as your bronzer if you want to do a powdered bronzer. So we're just going to add a little bit of Max Harmony, and we're going to do a powdered bronzer with the kabuki. And we're just going to add it into the contour right on top of the Inglot YSM face powder where we put the Weekend Cream Bronzer. Then we're going to go in with the Delium Tools 942. The face brushes have the number 9 in them. And we're just going to take this angled brush, and we're going to use it as a blush brush. We're going to swipe into it with a little bit of MAC's My Highland Honey. This brush is a little bit easier for blush, especially with pigmented colors, than using this one, which I really like this one. This one is a little bit easier for contour or blushes that have a low pigmentation that you want to diffuse out a lot. I'll do that. I'll do this brush actually on the other side of my face. And we're just going to get into the face powder. We're going to point the major angle right here at the front, so we have an actual like really, you know, so too much pigment doesn't go down. If we're going to go this way, I think we'd have less control. For me personally, but that's just me. You have a pretty similar effect. Honestly, the color is actually a little more diffused with the big brush, so that's just a heads up on there. Now we're gonna go into MAC's Shea Shea Lame with the Bdellium Tools brush. This is the 787, technically an eye brush, but I like to use it as a face brush or a brow highlight if I'm doing a very simple eye. And this just gives me a lot of precision. It's kind of like the Bdellium Tools version of the MAC 227. It's like that multi-purpose eye and face brush. So for lips, I'm going to take MAC's Subculture Lip Liner, line my lips, and fill them in. Now I was getting asked for a dupe of the MAC 211 on Facebook, and I realized I actually do not have a brush or a decent brush. I have like a really chintzy cheap one. Looks like this. Doesn't work very well. It's too flexible. But basically it's a liner brush that you can use for eyes or lips. The number of this brush is number 540, so I do believe that's the numbering system for the lip line. And it's a dupe of the MAC 211. So we're just going to take this brush and a little bit of OCC lip tar in Hush. And we're just going to cover our lips with it. And then I'm just going to take a little bit of Feathered, just to use as a highlighter color in the center of my lips. And just like that. And that'll dry to a nice satin finish, and we're just going to layer it with the Too Faced Glamour Gloss and Barely Legal. Okay, that completes the look. I hope you enjoyed this look using Glamour Doll Eyes, Bdellium Tools, OCC Lip Tars, and thanks for watching.